Hello there ladies and gentlemen, it's Alexander Hilly123 here and it's time for a new video. And as you can see from the title, today it's time for a new pickups video. It's only been about 4.5 months since the last one, and on average it does tend to be about 6, 7, even 8 months in between pickups. But what can I say? I've been purchasing a few extra games, and as such here we are today. I've got 5 to showcase. That's the rule, ladies and gentlemen. They have to be a first time purchase. If I've bought a game before on a different system and I'm buying it again, that doesn't count. Digital or physical, first time purchase. So today we've got, they're all digital by the way today, I hate it, but I didn't have a choice with 1, 2, 3 of these. I had to purchase them digitally. We're going into a digital only world. Keep fighting it, because that's all I can do in this modern culture, ladies and gentlemen. I just keep fighting things that I can't beat, but I ain't going to stop until I'm 6 feet under, I'll tell you that right now. But ladies and gentlemen, I'm trying to keep this one under 30 minutes. We have got, first of all, Far Cry 4, and it was in my last pickups video that I purchased Far Cry 3, my first venture into the Far Cry series. Criticised the games for years, just because I know how formulaic the games have become and how formulaic Ubisoft as a developer have become, and that's the most important thing here. I did say that I googled before even playing Far Cry 3, what's the best Far Cry game, where should you start if you don't really care, because the stories, they don't really tie together. I'm sure some hardcore fan will say, well actually, but ultimately most of them don't. The third game came out as best, I played it, I enjoyed a lot of it, but could see why I would get quickly fatigued. I made a mistake buying Far Cry 4 so soon after, because this one was a real slog to complete. This game looks slightly better than the third game. Like the texture pop-ins and shit like that is better. Not as bad as it was in Far Cry 3. The FPS is better. Obviously I'm playing this on a Series X from the Xbox One version. But this game was released just 2 years after the third game. As soon as the third game came out, like a month after, they probably were like, yeah, make a fourth game, make it very similar. Cookie cutter, copy and paste. All the missions are very, very similar. The story beats somewhat similar. This game has a lot of mountains. It suffers from Fallout New Vegas syndrome, as I call it. Is there anything more frustrating in the game than mountains that you get to, and it's like, well, I can't climb that. I'm going to go all the way around. That was my issue with Fallout New Vegas, which I've still never completed, even though I love the third game. But holy shit, it was pissing me off, and it pissed me off in this game as well. Within 2 years, there was very little within Far Cry 4 that differentiated it from the third game and made it better apart from the graphics. The gunplay is immensely satisfying. The sound, the voice acting, shit like that, it's pretty good. But I've said it before, I said it with the third game, and it is not different with the fourth game. They make it too easy for you in these games to be a one-man army and get loads of loot. And I know it's an FPS and people want that superhero kind of experience, but I've said this many times, I'll say it again. Devs need to make it more fun and satisfying to actually upgrade your shit. Because in Far Cry, you skin these animals, and oh, it's a rare animal, skin 4 of them, you get more money in your wallet. But there's loads of treasures in the game. There's so many, and they lose its meaning. They lose their meaning, I should say. So you get, oh, 1 million, I've sell this treasure, I'll go into a camp, clear this outpost out, I spent about 20 grand, I've got all this treasure, I'm selling it, how much have I got back? Oh, about 80 grand, woohoo, quids in. I like a game, you know, talking about Fallout there, for example, the older games especially, where you always feel like you're getting ripped off, where you where you feel that you're not getting a bargain, because it's harder. Far Cry as well, the fall damage, what the hell were the devs thinking? Have you played this game, you might know what I'm talking about. You fall off a ledge, 10 feet, max health, you're dead. Sometimes you don't take any damage. One of the things I like most about these games, I think they're called buzzers, you fly up in the air, these little mini helicopters, they were cool. But overall, I'm done with Far Cry. It was okay, but I was getting a bit frustrated and losing respect for the game. And that's quite an interesting terminology to use, but I'm sure we've all been there before, where you do lose respect for the game, you know what's coming, you roll in your eyes, and that was Far Cry 4. The mechanics, though, the FPS gunplay, very fun, but yet again, certain upgrades are tied to, oh, you can only get this gun when you've progressed 75% of the way through the game, and it's absolutely immense. And the other guns, there's a lot of good ones, but I just got frustrated with the game. Far Cry 5 and 6, not interested. Saw the poorer reviews of 6. Saw the fact that Far Cry 5, it was doing what every game was doing around that time, which was, Donald Trump's in charge, the evil orange man is here, like Wolfenstein 2 did. And I just couldn't be arsed, I really couldn't. Far Cry Primal, I've heard good things about. I'll play that in the future, but it will be 6 months, definitely, plus before I play. It's only last summer I played Far Cry 3, now it's January, Far Cry 4. It's going to be over a year till I play Far Cry Primal. And also, the ending of this game, spoilers here, it is nearly 10 years old, this game. The bad guy, the antagonist, I would say, unless you want a real bad taste in the mouth, don't shoot him, because he's not the bad guy. You were the bad guy all along, or the people you were working for were the bad guys. I fucking hate it when devs do this. Here's the antagonist, he's done all these evil things, but if you don't shoot him, he'll actually tell you that your reason for being there was bullshit all along, and that he's not the bad guy, and he actually swans off in a helicopter. I actually googled, when I completed the game, are there multiple endings? Yes, there are. If you shoot him, fade to black, credits happen, you don't know anything about why you started the game in the first place, you get no resolution. If you don't shoot him, you get a much better ending. I googled it, and gamers don't have much empathy. We know this to be true. And everyone was saying, well, you shouldn't have shot him, or you got the shit ending. I think the ending was absolutely fantastic. But I didn't at all. The bad guy himself, played by Troy Baker, really good performance, Pagan Min, he never gets angry. Never once in the game does he get angry. He's just not got it in him. But he's still an evil piece of shit with his swerve pink suit. But basically, you're there to spread your mother's ashes. The game's set in India, I think, or a fake town in India. I can't remember, guys. It's a cookie cutter story. Your mum wanted her ashes spread where she was born, in this rural place of India. You're actually American, but obviously that's where your origins are. And you find out that she had an affair with Pagan Min. And your dad, who the religion is after, the golden path that you're working for with these two people who you're helping, he was actually an evil piece of shit. And Pagan Min apparently says he wasn't. So, I don't know. I just didn't like the ending. Don't shoot him, because the game doesn't make it obvious. You aim your gun, but it doesn't even show RT or R2 on PlayStation to actually do it. And I felt shortchanged. I felt angry. Interesting ending, but I did not enjoy it personally. And the game frustrated me somewhat. I won't be playing one of those games as well. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, let's move on, because this is the game we're going to be talking about the most of in this pickups video, because, after all, it's a complete and utter colossal masterpiece, according to the people in the industry who need the moolah. But apparently, this game hasn't made that much moolah. As I'm making this video in early January, it sold around about 900,000 copies. Will probably, before the end of winter, springtime, get to about 1.5 million. But it's not a good return. But then again, when they went digital only, I'm kind of glad they've got this slap in the face. Ladies and gentlemen, it's none other than Alan Wake 2. And I need to say, first and foremost, there's been a lot of talk of Alan Wake since the sequel came out in October. I never adored the first game. I love the style of game. I love the aspects of the story and the way that it's written. It's what Remedy are great at and what Sam Lake is great at. It's weird. It's ambiguous. He never really tells you what the hell is going on exactly. Linear, survival horror. It's not really survival horror, the first game. I love all that shit. But the gameplay was never amazing. It's a serviceable, good game that I've played a few times before on a few different systems, 360 back in the day, and then I got the remastered version. Maybe one day I'll get it on PlayStation just for the platinum. I'll get close to the platinum, there's a few annoying trophies. But yeah, the gameplay was never the best thing about Alan Wake 2. Before release, saying that there'd be no physical copy of the game was a bit controversial, to say the least. I was disappointed, but I was always going to get this game because the graphics engine that Remedy have got right now, I can't remember what it's called, but the games look absolutely stunning, and the voice acting, amazing, the stories have been great in the past, and I was hoping that the gameplay would be better as well. What I'm starting to realise, and I guess I realised this with The Last of Us Part 2 compared to Part 1, although I think Last of Us Part 2's gameplay is a lot better than Alan Wake 2's gameplay, is a lot of these modern games now, and Callisto is like that as well. The Dead Space remake, somewhat, when it slowed you down and forced you to have conversations that weren't in the original, the cinematic element is getting in the way of the gameplay. And that, for me, was the main issue with Alan Wake 2. I have to say, personally, I don't think this game was a masterpiece. I really don't. Everyone is absolutely loving it. I think the audio was incredible. In headphones, oh my lord, what a great experience. Audio, music, sensational. Voice acting, sensational. Graphics, very good. Very good. I think some games I've played before have looked slightly better than Alan Wake 2. I'm no expert when it comes to graphics, of course. I'm a console scrub, what would I know? But I think I've played a few games that are graphically better than it, but it's solid. My issue with Alan Wake 2 is that the game is so damn stop-start. And who thought it was a good idea, the board, when you're Saga? Who thought that was a good idea, to put all those things in place? If it did it for you automatically, this is what Core Carnage said when he was playing the game, it wouldn't be so bad. But it became so painstaking, and it wasn't really like a puzzle. She'd wrote something like a post-it note, and then there were 2 post-it notes, and this said murderer's motivations, and underneath it had said Alan Wake or something. She's trying to piece things together, and you put the little note to the top, and she went, nah, wrong. You put it to the bottom, oh, that's right. Okay, well, what have you achieved anyway? So I bet, right, that game took me about 30 to 35 hours to complete, just like Last of Us 2 did. I said it was too long in that game. How many hours did I spend at that board? A lot. And then she went to this kind of mind place where all these characters are saying things to her. And during the game, I'm thinking, is this woman psychic or what? I don't think it was ever even explained how she knows this. She just got superpowers or some shit, and you just take it as read. And yeah, that is the thing. You do swap between Saga and Alan. You can do it at any time. And I was confused when playing the game because I thought, can you miss out on certain parts of the game? That's what I was worried about. But no, you don't. And I decided one chapter is one character, other chapter is the next, and back and forth, and that's the way I did it. Obviously in this game, there's absolutely shit tons of lore. My lord, it's everywhere. In regards to reading, that got me pissed off with Control, the game before Alan Wake 2 that Remedy did, because it was bonkers, nonsensical, and it was really the first Remedy game where I was like, the narrative here is just, it's going over my head, but that's not the most important thing. It's just daft. I did not like that game at all. And the performance on a base Xbox One PS4 was diabolical. Absolutely diabolical. Alan Wake 2, man. I don't know. I got about 3/4 of the achievements. There are some more that I have to get. It's the kind of game where when you complete it, you're like, that was an experience. Whether you liked it or not, you know you experienced something crazy there. But what is it going to be like in regards to replayability? Now, I think they've released a few weeks ago New Game Plus, because that's what devs are doing now. Here's New Game Plus months later. Used to be on release, but now you've got to wait for it. Why? I don't even like New Game Plus. And they're not even giving you achievements for it either. I thought they would have done that to entice you. But I know that I missed out on just a few collectibles. I know there's about 300 or so gamer score for me to get, mop up on a second playthrough. I know a YouTube video will help me with that. But how fun is this game going to be on replay? Because there's a lot of mechanics in this game that slow you down and stop you from shooting the enemies. It's a third-person shooter at the end of the day. And I get it. These devs don't want to make a game that people say, oh, it's so repetitive with the gunplay, because that's what the people said about the first game. It's all about pacing. It really is. But we've said this many times before. It definitely bears repeating. Is the cinematic element of these video games, these big AAA ones, getting in the way of gameplay? My main man, Seraphim17, always says this, and one of my favourite people on the internet. He hated Alan Wake 2. He hated Callisto. He hated Dead Space. He hated Last of Us 2, although that seemed to just be because he was a Joe fanboy, to be fair. But, you know, I like Dead Space Remake. I like Callisto. I kind of like Alan Wake 2. But I don't adore any of them. like the original Dead Space, or Evil Within, or Resi 4 Original, not the remake, because that game's gameplay is nowhere near as good. We've already spoke about that. But I do wonder. I think with Alan Wake 2, a lot of these questions will only reveal themselves with another playthrough. Now, I can't quite remember if they've released this nightmare difficulty with the New Game Plus, or whether we have to wait for that. And of course, there will be DLC as well. Not going to give you guys spoilers. Well, I'm not going to give precise spoilers, but if you don't want to know anything, get off this video now. You've been warned. But typically, and I knew this would be the case, we didn't get a conclusion by the end of this game. There is no conclusion. There never was going to be. That is not a surprise. But Alan's not such a good guy. What a surprise. Hang on, my phone's buzzing. What's this? And there's a lot to speak of with Alan Wake 2. The gameplay was more fun than the first game. The goer was appreciated, some sick goer. The enemies making weird noises and saying human things. That was creepy. It is scarier than the first game. It's got atmosphere and tension. But I'll tell you something, and I think this is absolutely fucking despicable. Those cheap jump scares. I remember back in the day, ladies and gentlemen. You remember? If you're a millennial or older, not a zoomer, you'll remember those maze things, those little fake games on Flash, where you had like a narrow tube and you had like a little square or something, and you carefully had your mouse, and it was like, don't touch the sides. You touch the side, and the girl from The Exorcist would come up on the screen, screaming at you as well, coming out of the speakers. And it was absolutely terrifying. Those cheap jump scares where a face appears and pops up. I hate those. They are terrifying, but it is the worst kind of horror. And I actually saw an article from PC Gamer. A lot of people are up in arms about it because it's so cheap. And yeah, it scares you. And it's going to scare you on every playthrough because the game's so long, you're not going to be able to remember where they're actually coming from. But I just didn't think it was good at all. And I was fearing them. And I'm not embarrassed to say I was playing like that. Because give me tension. Give me atmosphere. Don't give me the fucking stupid pop-up from like early mid-2000s internet era. It was so dumb. So dumb. If you've not played the game, get prepared. Because they are going to scare you. They're going to give you a heart attack. If you've got a weak heart and you're an older boomer gamer, seriously, be careful. Christ almighty, what were they thinking of? Ruins all the tension. I hate it. The scariest part of the game, though, without a shadow of a doubt, with Alan Wake 2, for me personally, was at that nursing home where everything had like an orange tint. There was something extra eerie about that, and it kind of was reminiscent of House Beneviento in Resident Evil Village. Alan Wake 2, so much to say, but I'm going to end it there. If you ever see it come to the channel in terms of a walkthrough, just know that I felt like there was a need to do so, gameplay-wise, but I'm really not sure. I liked it. I didn't love it. I'm now looking forward to what they're going to do with the Max Payne 1 and 2 remakes, especially considering James McCaffrey's left the building. I can't believe that, by the way. Holy shit. R.I.P. Could not believe that. He's unfortunately passed away, the voice actor. Who was Mr. Max Payne. So is that going to affect the remakes at all? Not sure. I hope not. Obviously, you know, the guy's left the building. That's the most important thing. It's tragic. But, yeah, just hope it doesn't ruin the remakes. I hope they still go along with them. But if he's not done his lines and then we're going to redo them, then what's going to happen? Anyway, next up, ladies and gentlemen, not much to say about this one because I've not purchased it yet. What else hasn't been said about Half-Life? A few months ago, Steam, I can't exactly remember why, I think it was the 25th anniversary of the game, made it free. I played Half-Life 2 for the first time about 7 or 8 years ago. I never played episode 1 and 2. I've never even seen the proper ending. I know what happens, I've been spoiled with that. But I never played episode 1 and 2, and I did like Half-Life 2. I can definitely see why it was so legendary at the time, but I've never played the original. Free on Steam. My laptop, I'm assuming, will play a 1998 game properly. So I purchased it, but I've not bought it yet. Any free games, by the way, because I very rarely ever get free games, do go on the pickups list. So I bought Half-Life. I've not yet played it. I would love Black Mesa, which isn't free, of course, to go. And I've not even bought Black Mesa. But I'd love that to go on console. Don't think it ever will. The original Half-Life, 1998. Holy shit, you need some perspective on that. Wasn't exactly the first FPS ever, of course, but of its time and with a lot of the mechanics, it was definitely unique. And yeah, I'll start that and hopefully, fingers crossed, like it and wait 18 million years for Half-Life 3. No, we'll never get it. We'll never get it, ladies and gentlemen. The bloody printing money. Why do Valve, I should say, need to make more games? Anyway, up next, ladies and gentlemen, is a game that I've still not yet purchased. Sorry, I have purchased, but I've not yet played after purchasing it. It is an Xbox exclusive, the rarest of things, and apparently Microsoft in 2023-24 are really struggling. I got my Series X. Aspects of the console are worse than the Xbox One. The UI and the main menu, it crashes a lot. The console crashes a lot more. Don't know if that's the particular games I'm playing. They've not really shown us much that's new in terms of the UI and the main menu and the hub and everything, etc. But yeah, it's getting absolutely smashed by Sony, and yet the PS5, I mean, gaming's not in a good place, but people are saying bad things about the PS5 compared to the PS4, and I did like the PS4, and I will get a PS5 maybe this year. There's talk of a PS5 Pro. That's the rumour I'm hearing, but there's going to be a new Xbox, which is not a Pro, but it's just a brand new console. I don't know. I think we're seeing the death of the console. I think we're seeing the death of the everyman gamer, and it's just going to be PC gaming. Spend about £5,000 per year to upgrade, because I've said this before, but people who laugh at console gaming, it's like, turn the button on, play the game, no worries, awesome. If it's an FPS, yeah, of course you want to be on PC. If you want the greatest graphics and performance, yeah, of course PC. But just a random person wanting to play console games to get away from the misery of life and just turn the console on immediately and play, what is the issue? But still, yeah, and still, there's always been, and even more so these days with these young Zoomers, this trend of laughing at console gamers and the plight that they find themselves in, with the fact that these consoles aren't exactly that great, and there's been a lot of false promises, etc. But that's just the modern day for you. But yeah, I don't know why I'm going off on this tangent now, but Microsoft are apparently struggling with the Series X, and I do find it a shame. I'm not a fanboy, but I have been more on the Microsoft side of things for the last 10-15 years. But yeah, that's that. Anyway, the game itself, Sunset Overdrive. It was an offer, about £3.75. You know what? I thought, I'm going to fucking play this, mate. I'm probably going to play it, pal. This game was released, I do believe, late 2013, early 2014, so it's about 10 years of age now. Not started it, like I said, but I was on howlongtobeat.com and I thought, well, I've purchased it dirt cheap. Let's see how long it is, because sometimes the length of the game, I always want to know the length of the game before I play it. What am I letting myself in for? I don't look at gameplay, but I want to know how long on average it's going to take. It's a sandbox game more so than a pure open world. 17 hours. So, how long to beat show you how long to complete the main story. The main story plus some extras, and to 100% the game. And for me, it's usually main plus extra, the one in the middle. That is how long it takes me to complete the game. And I think that was like 22 hours. So, wow, I watched one of my favourite streamers play Infamous, which is a similar kind of game, I do believe, in terms of it being a sandbox style. And that was like 15 to 20 hours. And it's really refreshing when games are that length, especially in this day and age of games being over 60, 70 hours long, like it's a fucking RPG, and when they're actually not. So yeah, Sunset Overdrive, that is going to be the next game I play in a few weeks for a first playthrough after the next game. So I'm not going to speak anymore of Sunset Overdrive. It looks fun, it looks bright, it looks colourful. Kind of reminds me of like a story-based version of the graphics of Hi-Fi Rush, which I've not yet played. That might be on the next pickups video, ladies and gentlemen. That or Ghostwire Tokyo definitely will. We will get a Tango Gameworks game on there from the former Evil Within devs. People don't like survival horror. Fuck you, you pricks. But, yeah, there is one other game to talk about, ladies and gentlemen. It's a game that I am about 3/4 of the way through. I will complete it tonight. I've not yet completed it. I kind of wanted to delay doing this video so I could complete the game fully and talk about it. But I think I know what's going to come, and I don't think there's that much more to say about it. But it's been too short for me personally, and it's definitely too short for the money they want you to pay for it, which is a shame, because yes, a game's price shouldn't always be dictated by its length and vice versa. You know what I'm saying here. A game's short, thus it shouldn't be cheap. It doesn't necessarily work like that. Longer games aren't necessarily better, of course, but this game's very short, but it's very intriguing. I said this year was going to be a year where I play a lot of either indie games or like double A, not pure triple A. I'm guessing this game would be double A. I don't know who the devs are, I can't remember. Actually, I've got the Wikipedia pages open here. I have opened them for this video, but I've not actually looked yet. It's a Swedish developer, and that is because it is a game which is inspired by... Sorry if you heard my guts grumbling there, ladies and gentlemen. It's a game inspired by the folklore and fairy tales in Sweden. It is a game called Bramble, the Mountain King. And I've called this the King, the Bramble God, the Bramble Kids. I keep calling it different variations of its actual name for some reason. But yes, this is a kind of... It's one of those games which is more of an action-adventure game. There is some light platforming, but it's not really a platformer because, for example, when you're on like a narrow log, you can't fall off it. But it's kind of one of these Limbo Inside, Little Nightmares games. The camera is very rigid. When you use the right stick, you can't use the camera much to swing it left and right and see what's around you. The game itself looks absolutely gorgeous. Very cutesy art style. The characters, there's a brother and a sister. You play as the brother. The sister gets lost very early doors. You play as the brother, and for whatever reason, outside of his house everything's all going wrong. Okay, back in the room, ladies and gentlemen. I just completely lost my train of thought there. I'm in a bit of rush, to be honest with you. You hear my phone buzzing before. I've got to be off and doing things after I made this video, so my mind is elsewhere. But basically, there's things that are happening in the game world in this game that are very evil and bad and sinister. The game starts off in an incredibly light tone, but things get pretty dark. And this is definitely not a kid's game because there's some violence and gore in this game, which are very surprising if you're not anticipating it. And the aesthetic is gorgeous. The music and the audio in this game is second to none. Absolutely sensational. And there's minimal gameplay in there. There's a few mechanics based on light and fighting enemies, but the gameplay is very minimal. Now, this game... I got some Xbox gift cards for Christmas. This should have been 25 quid. I got an Xbox gift card. It's £12.50, and I thought 50% off on Xbox, and I thought that's a good price for it. £25. This game lasts about 6 hours, guys. I put about 4 hours in. I'm close to the end, but it's very short. Not had a look at the achievement list because they're all secret achievements, and I'll only look at a secret achievement after I've completed the game. But I definitely will be doing a second playthrough of this game. It's just, like I said, Limbo Inside, Little Nightmares, these kind of games where it's light on the gameplay, but the aesthetic and the audio and the graphics are absolutely beautiful. And it's a nice palate cleanse when you've been playing Far Cry 4 or Alan Wake 2, something that's not AAA, and there's a lot of love got into this game. I would just say, even though I know I'm about an hour from the end, bloody hell, it's a lot of money, 25 quid. For a game this length, it really is. But yeah, I want to talk more about Bramble the Mountain King. Gorgeous audio, gorgeous graphics. I think there's going to be a pretty bad ending. That's not a spoiler. You'd feel the same if you played this game. But yeah, if you like the sound of this, you've played the games aforementioned, then go ahead and give it a go. Bramble Mountain King. Oh, actually, sorry, Mountain Bramble King. See, I'm doing it again. I'm getting the name wrong. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. I've managed to keep this under 30 minutes. Apologies about the rambling. I've been a bit incoherent in this video. Sometimes I start these videos up and everything flows off the tongue and it's absolutely fine and dandy and easy. And other times, it's like I've never spoken English before. But anyway, headphones on. I've got to do some shit. I'll tell you what, ladies and gentlemen, it won't be too long. Woo! Doing the old lasso there. It won't be too long before you see another pickups video again. I already know the kind of games I want. I've got a lot more money on my Xbox gift card, which is awesome. But I'm still waiting because I can afford quite a few games, but I'm still waiting for deals because I want to get the most out of the actual Xbox gift card. Next video coming up on the channel, guys. It will be a vinyl pickup, so another pickups video to come. I got a vinyl for Christmas. A man who was very, very high on cocaine and heroin during the the making of the album. And yeah, I've not done a pickups video for vinyl for about 3 or 4 years. They've gone up in price. They've doubled on average in price, from about 20 to 40 quid, I'd say. And don't expect another vinyl pickups this year. Probably going to be 2 or 3 years till the next one, because I show 5 off every video. You know, that's hundreds of pounds worth of vinyls, ladies and gentlemen. I've got to spend the money on more intelligent things, more boring things. But yeah, that'll be coming in the next week or two. And then a Gangsta Worst to Best, rest in peace Guru. One of my favourite, probably my favourite hip-hop duo of all time, my favourite hip-hop artist of all time. There's going to be a lot more of those this year, once every 3 months or so, I'd say. You know, ranking music. I've got Deftones, 9 Inch Nails, Stone Temple Pilots, and one other 2 groups of that nature, something more rock orientated after Gangsta. And then we've got my Callisto Protocol playthrough, where I don't know if it's going to be Contagion, permadeath difficulty, we'll see. Then Hotline Miami, then Resident Evil Original as we move into spring, and who knows what after that. But thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you soon. Bye bye.